Ever been to a new city, say Houston, Texas, and met someone for the first time? And before they even say a word, this little voice in your head, like a GPS with a bad signal, goes, "Warning, do not trust this person." Slight pause, or maybe it's the total opposite. Just a couple of words, and your gut, like a seasoned London England cab driver, tells you, this person is the real deal. They're honest, they're different. Slight pause isn't just random noise. It's your brain, working faster than a German Autobahn, processing a ton of info in seconds, making a snap judgment. But what's this decision even based on? Is it their eyes, the sound of their voice, or just your natural-born instincts from New Orleans, Louisiana? I've always wondered about that voice. Why do we instantly click with some people, and with others, we just want to keep our distance, even if they haven't said a word? So one day, I decided to go on a deep dive. I'm talking about a research mission that took me from the halls of a university in Paris, France, to a behavioral science lab in Boston, Massachusetts. And guess what? The consensus is clear. First impressions aren't random at all. They're systematic judgments. We can size someone up in just 10 seconds. And most of the time, we do it without even realizing it. But here's the game changer. We can also do it on purpose. In this video, I'm going to show you how to read someone's personality in just 10 seconds using real science, real life stories, and a couple of simple tricks. We're talking about hacks to really get to know people, because sometimes just one quick look tells you everything you need to know. Ready? Let's jump right in. And while you're at it, hit that like button to tell YouTube that you want more videos just like this one. No one won. Eye contact. Have you ever felt uncomfortable because of the way someone looked at you, like they're staring right through you, making you want to look away? It gives you this unsettling feeling you just can't explain. And sometimes it's the opposite. You're having a chat in a coffee shop in Prague, Czechia, and when they look you right in the eye, you feel seen. Eye contact is way more powerful than most people's ache. Psychologists say it's not just a way to communicate, it's actually a trust test. If someone keeps staring for too long, it can feel a little creepy, like a scene from a thriller movie in Hollywood, California. But on the other hand, if someone looks away too quickly, or keeps darting their eyes around, that sends a different message. I'm not really present, or I might be nervous around you. Like Southside staring tomorrow, I'm not being totally honest. Here's what's wild. Research from Oxford, England shows that people can usually tell if someone's trustworthy with just 3 seconds of eye contact. And most of the time, those gut feelings are spot on. Say you're grabbing coffee with someone you just met in New York City. If they keep avoiding your eyes, or their eyes are constantly darting around like they're trying to find an exit, you probably get that gut feeling that something's off, even if you can't put your finger on it. Slight pays, quick, intuitive side at work, what psychologists call System 1. It picks up on stuff you might not even notice. So when you first meet someone, try asking yourself, how are they looking at me? If their eye contact feels warm, steady, and relaxed, odds are you're dealing with someone you can trust. But if their eyes keep shifting away, like they're trying to hide a secret in a small town in Idaho, maybe they're not being their true self. Point 2, micro expressions. When someone smiles at you, are they really happy, or are they just being polite? The secret is in their micro expressions. Sometimes people's faces show what they're feeling in just a split second. So quick, most folks don't even catch it. But our brains, they're excellent at picking up on these little clues. I remember once watching a video that really stuck with me. An FBI agent was questioning a suspect and caught a micro expression, a tiny flicker that lasted just 0.2 seconds. The suspect looked calm, but as soon as his eyebrows furrowed, the agent was like, "That guy's lying." No joke, this is exactly how micro expressions work. If someone's secretly mad but tries to force a smile, their facial muscles just don't add up. That tiny mismatch can tell you a ton about how they're really feeling. Joke. Here are a few quick examples. Eyebrows shoot up for a split second, that's surprise or maybe fear. Lips pressed tight together, that usually means hidden anger. If someone smiles but their eyes stay the same, that smile is probably as fake as a $3 bill from a small town in Montana. So, how do you spot these signs? Just slow down for a second. Instead of only listening to their words, watch what their body and face are saying. People can lie with words, but their face, especially those quick flashes, almost never does. If someone says, "Nice to meet you," with the warmth of a chilly Swedish night, but their eyes aren't smiling and their mouth looks tight, odds are they're not really that glad to meet you. even if their words sound perfect. Micro expressions are small, but their impact is huge. We often show our real feelings on our faces without even realizing it. Point 3. Body language. Want to know what someone's really thinking? Don't just listen to their words. Watch their hands and how they move. The thing is, we can usually control what we say, but our bodies, they spill the beans about what's really going on inside, sometimes without us even realizing it. Let me tell you a story. One time I was in a meeting in Chicago, Illinois, where someone was giving a presentation. They sounded super confident and their words were persuasive, but the whole time their hands were hidden under the table. Right away I thought, they don't seem all that confident in themselves. Then later on I realized that whenever someone kept their hands out of sight, it made the whole room feel uneasy. I even looked it up. And sure enough, psychologists in Germany say that seeing someone's hands is closely tied to how trustworthy and confident they come across. Here are some quick examples. Open palms show you've got nothing to hide. You're being honest and open. Keeping your hands behind your back or stuffed in your pockets, that can make people think you might be hiding something, like a tourist trying to hide a souvenir from a bustling market in Madrid, Spain. If you fidget with your hands, it usually means you're feeling super antsy, nervous, or maybe even a little anxious. And if your hands are just totally still, that can be a sign you're worried about messing up or losing control. But it's not just about your hands. Crossing your arms, that's a classic don't mess with me move. Leaning in shows you're engaged and really paying attention. But if your shoulders are slumped, you're probably feeling tired, bummed out, or just not feeling very confident. Honestly, body language is kind of like a roadmap. If you know how to read it, all the stuff people try to hide with words just pops right out at you. So just remember, if someone says, "I'm fine," with the kind of energy you'd find in a quiet town in Nebraska, but their body language is screaming, "Get me out of here," trust what their body's telling you. Point 4. The art of space. You know those folks who get all up in your face when they talk? Then there are others who like to keep their distance, almost like there's an invisible barrier between you. That's not by accident. How close or how far someone stands says a lot. Whether it's your first time meeting, a job interview, or just hanging out with friends, the space someone keeps between you and them usually shows how comfortable they are with you, or how close you actually are. And honestly, most people don't even notice how much they're saying just with space. Studies show that the space we keep from other folks says a ton about our personalities, how we feel in different situations, and even what our intentions might be. For example, someone who stands super close might really be warm and friendly, like a person from Bavaria, Germany. But if it feels a little too close for comfort, maybe they just don't know boundaries, or maybe they're kind of overbearing. If someone keeps their distance, maybe they're just shy, playing it safe, or maybe they want to show they're the one calling the shots. Point 5. First lines. Let's talk about first lines. Slight pages. They're pretty much like handing someone your business card when you meet them for the first time. Your first impression really lasts. Nobody just blurts out the first thing that pops into their head. Those opening words actually give you a sneak peek into how they think, what gets them excited, and sometimes even show a little bit of their ego. Think about it. You're meeting someone for the first time in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and they say, "I'm pretty good at reading people." Immediately, you might be thinking, all right, this person's confident, maybe even a bit too confident. Or maybe they take things off with, "So, what do you do?" You seem super easy to talk to, and right away, you feel like, okay, this person's friendly, polite, and knows how to read a room. Sure, it all sounds simple, but if you pay attention to what's underneath those words, it's a lot easier to figure out how someone sees themselves or how they want you to see them. Point 6, the mini character test. Has anyone ever told you, "I'll text you later," but then you never hear back? Or, "I'll shoot you that link," but it never shows up? Little things like that tell you a ton about a person. It's not the big promises that show if someone's reliable, it's the small stuff. Pretty much everyone says, "I'll help you out," or "Let's hang out sometime," but honestly, hardly anybody really follows through. Slight pause. Here's the deal. If someone can't even keep a tiny promise, they're way more likely to drop the ball when it really matters. I call this a mini character test. You don't need a deep conversation, just pay attention. If someone says, "I'll hit you up," and then never does, it just means you weren't really a priority to them. That says a lot about who they are. Point 7, tone of voice. Sometimes someone's saying the right words, but their tone just feels off. Like their words sound fine, but you just get this feeling, something's not adding up. Most of the time, that missing piece is all in their tone of voice. Your tone isn't just about giving info, it shows how you really feel. Experts say your tone actually packs way more emotion than the actual words. For example, if someone speaks loudly and quickly, they might seem dominant, intense, or maybe even a little anxious. If someone talks softly and slowly, it can mean they're shy or not very confident. A person who speaks in a monotone probably has trouble expressing emotions, or just wants to keep things under control, like a guard at the Tower of London. But if their voice keeps going up and down, they might be more emotional, empathetic, or sometimes just a bit unpredictable. Point 8. The waiter test. Want to test someone's character? Slight pause. Don't just watch how they act around their boss or people who can do something for them. The real test is how they treat people who can't do anything for them. Think about servers, janitors, call center reps, or anyone who often gets brushed off as unimportant. If someone's rude to these people, snaps at them, or acts like they don't even exist, you can spot it right away. That's someone I don't want to get too close to, because empathy isn't real empathy if you only show it to people who can benefit you. In that case, it's just a strategy. What really matters is character, not strategy. Point 9. How they react to criticism. Sometimes you give someone just a bit of feedback, like suggesting, "Could you try rephrasing that sentence?" Suddenly, it gets red in the face, their eyes go wide, and their voice gets louder. "So, you didn't like it, huh?" As if you just insulted them. That's when you see it, defensiveness. If someone sees every bit of criticism as a personal attack, odds are they've got some confidence issues they haven't dealt with yet. To them, any feedback feels like an attack on who they are. You don't need elaborate tests to figure out someone's character. Just gently make a suggestion, share your opinion, or let them know you disagree. If they get defensive, snap, get sarcastic, or call you too sensitive, there's a wall there. And most of the time, what's hiding behind it is pride, fear, or low self-esteem. Point 10. How a conversation ends. How a conversation ends says just as much as how it starts. Not everyone notices, but a keen observer will spot this right away. Some people just disappear in the middle of the conversation, like a ghost in a haunted house in Salem, Massachusetts. No goodbye, no catch you later. It's like they just accidentally dropped out of a Zoom call. Slight pause. Others drag the goodbye out forever. Wait, just one more thing, and suddenly the conversation never ends. That can be a sign of indecisiveness or a big need for approval. But the best people, they end the conversation naturally. With a simple smile, they say, "Great talking to you. Catch you later." Not too much, not too little. Point 11. The power of thin slicing. So far, we've covered eye contact, micro-expressions, body language, and tone of voice. But here's something really cool. How does your brain pull all this info together so quickly? I mean, usually it takes hours to truly get to know someone, right? But sometimes you just get a gut feeling in a few seconds. That's where a pretty amazing psychology idea comes in. It's called thin slicing. I actually first heard about this in Malcolm Gladwell's book, Blink. Gladwell says it like this: the human brain can draw conclusions from just a few seconds impressions that are as accurate as hours of analysis. Honestly, we do this without even thinking about it. Everything we just talked about, eye contact, quick facial expressions, little gestures, how close someone stands to you, and the way they speak, all of that is part of this process. Thin slicing is kind of like having a high-speed engine in your head. It pulls together all these little clues, and bam, there's your first impression. Now, of course, sometimes this whole system can throw us off. Quick decisions can get messed up by our old experiences or even our own biases. But when you use this skill the right way, it's honestly like having a superpower. Slight pace. Bottom line, if you start paying attention on purpose, you can actually steer these snap judgments your brain is making and really sharpen up your gut instincts. Sometimes it takes hours, days, or even months to really get to know someone, but other times, your brain just wants to figure it out in 10 seconds. That's because our instincts are all about making quick calls when we need to. Slight pause. Now that you know about all these signals, next time you meet someone, don't just listen to what's coming out of their mouth. Watch how they look at you, where they're standing, and how close they get. That way, you'll be one of those people who picks up on the little stuff, and you'll always be a step ahead. But here's the thing, this isn't about just slapping labels on people. It's about understanding them a bit better. So don't jump to the conclusion that someone's lying just because they look away. Maybe they're nervous. Maybe they're just shy. Real understanding, that takes time. These tricks just give you the first clues. But to actually get to know someone, you've got to spend more time and pay attention. Everything I've shared here is just a toolkit to help you build your intuition muscle. The more you put it into practice, the better you'll get at communicating. Honestly, I could talk about this kind of stuff all day, but since this video is turning out kind of long, I think it makes sense to wrap it up for now. I'll figure out what to dive into next based on your questions and feedback. I'm really not out here just chasing likes or trying to get attention. But hey, if this video actually helped you, drop a like or leave a comment. That's plenty for me. It just helps me know if I should keep making stuff like this. And if you want to see more videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Believe it or not, around 70% of people watching are still not subscribed. And lastly, let me know down in the comments, what's the first thing you notice when you meet someone new?